like memes?
Yes.
I like memes. Jeremy, I have curated, specially for you, a list of memes that you get to react to.
Great.
These are a variety of kinds of memes, theological in nature, Christian generally in nature. Some of them are funny, some of them poke fun at different theological camps. And I just want to get some of your reaction to this.
Well, Merry Christmas to all. And before we get into that, you should head on over to jeremyhoward.net where my annual music review list can be found. It came out this past Monday, and it is now available for your viewing. You can find out about all the good Christian music that's out there that was released in the year 2021. jeremyhoward.net. Check that out. Without any further ado,
yes.
Here we go.
Now, I'll go in with a disclaimer on one point. I have no idea how this is going to go. We've never done this before. Some of these memes, we'll just see how it goes. Maybe this will never see the light of day, but
if it does see the light of day, in the thumbnail for YouTube, can you put a Christmas hat, like a Santa hat thing on me? One of those red ones with the white ball on the end?
I could do that. All right. Are you ready? For better or for worse?
As ready as I'll ever be.
We're just going to launch right into the deep end.
Okay. Okay, now define coveys. When coveys use...
Covenant theologians.
Okay, all right. Covenant theologians use John Hagee to represent dispensationalism. Dude, we have... Yes. Indeed. Yeah. Anytime you see a critique of dispensationalism, it seems like it's always the John Hagee, whatever his name is, blood moon theology stuff. Yeah. We do have feelings as dispensationalists. Use someone more respectable, like a Ryrie or a Darrell Bach or someone like that.
Michael Vlock. Even John MacArthur's dispensational.
Yes.
Yeah. There are lots of respectable theologians out there. We don't have to jump to this kind of nonsense.
We have feelings.
We have feelings. All right, number 2.
Adapting a Charles Minor quote from The Office there with Paul Washer. I would never expected the Paul Washer Charles Minor mashup.
I am aware of the effect on people, yeah.
It is amazing. You go to a conference with Paul Washer, and everyone packs the room for Paul Washer, who frankly is not my favorite person to listen to for a few reasons. He's like constantly in Obadiah mode.
Well, it's so funny. The effect that he has on people is so divergent, right?
Yeah.
There's some people that absolutely really love and appreciate the things that he brings to the table, and then there's other people. You're probably in a mediating position a little bit. You don't appreciate him quite so much because of his just constant drubbings.
And then there's other people lob bombs at him.
Right. Then there's that other camp that just like, oh, this guy's the worst. He just wants to make you doubt your salvation, and he just wants to drag you down, and that sort of thing. So
he's like more polarizing than Tim Tebow. Remember when Tim Tebow was in the NFL and everybody either hated him or loved him?
Yeah.
And no one cared about how good he was at football. They just hated him or loved him because of his other views.
I think the one thing that could have made this meme just a little bit better if they had chosen an image of Paul Washer when he wasn't smiling.
Yes.
That,
which, oh boy, it's not like those are hard to find.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, Paul. Next. Oh, ooh, wow. That is
a little spicy.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I had an interaction recently with a covenant theology guy, Reformed Bro, on Twitter about Joel 2 and 3, where he says that he believes that all of Joel 2 and 3 was or is fulfilled now on this side of Pentecost. And I shared with him a little snippet of the beginning of Joel 3, where God talks about regathering Israel and the judgments that he's going to bring on the nations because of what they did to the land and everything else. And hey, how did this part get fulfilled? Can you tell me how that part has been fulfilled? And he decided to stop talking to me because they butcher Old Testament prophetic texts in many cases.
Yep, it's no longer in our argument. Which go listen to our hermeneutic series on the other videos on YouTube or on our RSS feed podcast. Do Theology. We have a whole series on hermeneutics talking about these issues. Next. Do you like Venn diagrams?
Oh, this is great. I love these ones. These are a little bit of a thinker. You gotta look at a lot of things.
Yes.
So the Red Sea is hated by guys named Ramsey. Okay. It will drown you, and it's salty. Debt, hated by guys named Ramsey. Debt will drown you, and debt impacts the whole household. And then Presbyterians, salty, will drown you, impacts the whole household. That's pretty good. A bit of a thinker on that one.
Do you get the two Ramsey references?
Yes, of course, Dave Ramsey in reference to debt, and then with the Red Sea being hated by guys named Ramsey. Well, actually, I don't know if I do get that one. Maybe there are two different directions I could see that going.
Okay, the Pharaoh Ramsey.
Okay.
I think Ramsey II, I think, was the Pharaoh at that time.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't know if there perhaps was a guy with the last name Ramsey who played him in the Charlton Heston movies or anything like that. But okay, that's what I figured. Ramses.
Yeah.
Like in Nacho Libre or Ramses.
I love a good Venn diagram like this. I think they're fantastic. So
yeah, that's good. Presbyterians, they will drown you.
I've got a couple other Venn diagrams. I'm not sure if they're right in a row, but let's see. Oh, they are in a row. Okay.
Zwingli, Calvin, and Luther, the big circles. Swiss residents, German speakers, friends with Melanchthon. And then the common denominator is funny hats. Not any of the five solas, but the funny hats. Okay. Yeah. True. I agree.
This one's a little more your context specific.
Mormon Church, the DMV, and Star Wars. Small ID cards, Mormon Church and DMV. That's funny. Mormon Church and Star Wars. Search your feelings. I don't know if I get that. Search your feelings.
That's because I should have thought about that a little bit more. You haven't watched Star Wars, so that'll be a little bit lost. Yeah.
Star Wars and the DMV. You don't need this. You don't need to see this identification. Again, without Star Wars. And then 2 hours. 2 hours. Mormon Church, DMV, and Star Wars. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That one's okay.
Yeah.
There's some Mormon Church accuracy that's off a little bit there, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Great effort, whoever made that. When someone who rejects theonomy wants to talk to you about Sabbatarianism. Now you love the tinkling hats. That's funny. That's a good one. Yeah. There are people who are Sabbatarians who are not theonomists, which seems pretty inconsistent. Because if you're going to say we must keep the Sabbath, yet you're not a theonomist, where are you getting that view?
On what basis can you argue we must keep the Ten Commandments and not observe the rest of the law? Right. And this is why, it's good not to be a Sabbatarian or a theonomist. Hey,
I preached a couple messages on Sabbath, the Lord's Day, and rest once upon a time. So yeah, people are interested in my views on that. I got a 2-part sermon on that at orchardhillsbiblechurch.com.
And there you go. Okay, that's our 7th one. Here we go, number 8. I don't know if you appreciate the stonks meme format.
Bringing up the original Greek for a word that means the same thing in English. I'm a Greek scholar. Yeah, right. Let's see, I'm trying to think of an instance off the top of my head and put on the spot. It's harder to think of something right off the bat.
Right, yeah. Well, the Greek word for agape means love, which is where we get translated the English word love.
Yeah, right.
Which obviously that's probably a really bad example because of the differences. It was the first word that came to my mind.
Yeah, when it's basically the same spelling and everything else. Yeah. Psyche for suke. I know there's a little more depth in there, but psyche, that's where this Greek word is psyche, where we get the word psyche. Greek scholar. Yes, indeed. Stephen Furtick, a Greek scholar. Okay, did you know by replacing your potato chips with grapefruit as a snack, you can lose up to 90% of what little joy you still have left in your life? 100% true. That one checks out.
I had to throw a non-theology meme in there.
grapefruit, it's pretty gross. I'm not a big fan of grapefruit.
I love grapefruit, actually.
I mean, I don't hate it. I'm just not a huge fan.
I almost ate a grapefruit today, and then I didn't. And now I'm thinking I might actually go and do that this afternoon for a little snack, because grapefruit is fantastic.
Chips instead?
Not instead, but I did have potato chips also.
Of course you did.
So, yeah. All right.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm familiar with this one. This is a meme that I made.
Yes, it is.
I love The Office, and I love poking a little bit of fun at Paul Washer. So Paul Washer as Prison Paul, I am here to scare you straight. That's his sermon approach every time he preaches. He's there to scare the living daylights out of you, which is why I don't really like listening to him.
Yeah. And just for those listening, real quick, by the time this airs, we will have a t-shirt in our store.dotheology.com, where you can buy a Paul Washer meme, everyone is the worst t-shirt. Paul Washer.
Wow.
So
you're making that commitment that we're going to have that.
I'm making that commitment. Yeah, it's going to be
check
there.
out store.dotheology.com to see that shirt, apparently. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to zoom in.
That's the tiny one. Oh, this guy's got a blog about Christian apologetics. I'll never apologize for being a Christian. Yeah, that's funny. A lot of people misunderstand what apologetics is based on the word, especially little old ladies, little blue-haired old ladies. I bet they pronounce the Greek word apologia instead of apologia, too. Idiots.
So it's interesting, though, that the word apology is kind of its own. It's its own. Well, the actual word I'm looking for is a contronym. It's its own. It means the opposite.
Yes.
It's its own opposite, a contronym, where an apology
Remember
can mean.
when we were in Atlanta and I was just reading off contronyms to you while you were driving?
Yeah.
That was a great time.
That was a great time.
We're really exciting people.
But it can mean an apology, I'm sorry, I regret something about this, or it can mean an apology, I'm making a defense about something. So when we're talking about apologetics, it refers to being a defense, not being sorry for something.
Indeed.
Yeah. Get through a couple
Next. Yeah. Credo Baptist, under the old covenant, be like, growing up, I Okay, that's probably the best one yet, I think. Oh, that's funny. So this is from a meme from the perspective of people who believe in infant baptism. They believe in infant baptism because they see baptism as a continuation of circumcision, and they go to the Old Testament and say, look, whole households were of the faith together. They were represented in the covenant. They were given the symbol of covenantal love, which then was circumcision, and the parents would have the children baptized, not waiting until they made a profession. And so they're saying, if you believe in believer's baptism, not infant baptism, then are you making the case that in the Old Testament, the children performed their own circumcision when they were willing? And so this is a great use of that line from Dwight in The Office. That's really funny. I like that one.
Yeah.
I disagree with the theology behind it totally, but it's funny.
Yeah, I got a good kick out of it. Obviously disagreeing with the theology as well, but I did find it quite amusing. So.
He must reign. Now I know where this is going. At Post Mill. He must reign until he has put all his enemies under his feet. 1 Corinthians 15. And dispensational premillennialists, should say premillennialists, getting upset at the biblical text because it says that. Oh, that one doesn't take a lot of, that's not creative. I don't like that one.
Yeah.
Do we believe that Jesus is ruling and reigning? Well, he of course is ruling and reigning in the church, and there will be a time when all his enemies will be put under his feet. Postmillennialists say that that's happening right now. You don't even need a meme to show how ridiculous that is. So, okay. Next. Oh, yeah. I've seen this one before.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Galatia. That's so funny. Some guy in Galatia, he was just going with the flow thing, and I guess this is what we do. Yeah. And so he's sitting on a block of ice the next day. Paul's letter shows up.
When I first saw this meme, I laughed out loud for probably, I don't know, for longer than I probably should have. It was just so funny to me.
That's a great one.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Just 2 more. How about that?
2 more. All right.
2 more.
Yeah. Now this is what I'm talking about. I was just talking to a friend about this earlier today. A lot of people who are not dispensational, I'd say maybe the majority of Christianity, not dispensational, they look at dispensationalism, which says what the prophets said in the Old Testament will literally come to pass, that Israel will be reinstituted as a nation. There will be priests and temple work even in the millennium, that in the Messianic kingdom, when Christ is ruling and reigning physically on the earth, things will be reinstituted. And we don't know all the details of why or how or for what, to what end, but it says in the prophets that, look, in Ezekiel particularly, that these things are going to happen. There will be priests making sacrifices in the temple in this future Messianic kingdom. And they say, well, no, that can't be right. So we're just gonna mess with the whole section right there in Ezekiel, including, and this is what I was talking to my friend about earlier, the section that's extremely detailed about the temple. 2.5, I think, full chapters, 40 to 42 in Ezekiel, talking about how many cubits tall the west wall will be and what the gates will look like and all this. What covenantal guys do is they apply their imagination to that and either give it all really weird symbolic meaning, or they just say, it doesn't really matter, don't even read it, skip over it.
Yeah.
Because he was talking about the church. Of course he was.
How those things can relate and correlate to the church, we don't have any idea, which is why it's imagination.
Imagination.
Yeah.
It's a bad hermeneutic.
Yes.
Imagination.
Again, hermeneutic series. Check that out.
Check it out. And finally, what made you want to write a Christian song with zero spiritual depth? Money. I can't remember how he talks. Money. Yeah, boy, when you look at the Christian music industry and you see all these songs that are made, especially by the same artist year after year, and they get on the radio and there's just no real edification in them at all, there's hardly any truth in them at all, you just wonder what is motivating these people. And yeah, money seems to be the case, because they do make a profit. They live in California in nice houses, a lot of them.
And
not all of them.
And then you get the benefit of listening to every single one every year.
As I prepare my end-of-year music review, I listen to a lot of those. I mean, now granted, the vast majority of Christian musicians who are putting out albums are barely getting by. However, I would say also the vast majority of those who are putting out albums aren't putting out good albums at all. And so there are a lot of people who have found the K-Love mode, or whatever you want to call it, where they know what will get played on radio because it's catchy and it doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. It's really nice, and it's very focused on you, the listener, and how nice your life's going to be, because God's going to bless you. I've listened to so much music that came out this year that was written with that kind of perspective, and it stinks. So go to jeremyhoward.net and find the good stuff. You can go right now.
There we go. Okay.
Wow, thanks for... I got to talk about a variety of things there.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's good. Now I need to come up with a list or a grouping of things for you to react to.
Yeah,
I don't know if it'll be memes, but...
That'll be fun, too. You kind of do that every episode, though, anyway. So this is like...
True.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Hope it was entertaining for you as it was for us. Have a good Christmas. Happy New Year.